G'day everyone, welcome to another episode where we're restoring a 46-foot John Pugh motor sailor. So this week we want to try and get some templates made up, some temporary bench tops and seating arrangements inside so that we can start sitting down, getting a feel of the room. We've got a few layouts in mind that we want to do, however we're unsure on which ones will work and which ones won't. So the other good thing about sorting this out now is that if we need to weld on some tabs to the hull or to the floor or anything, we get the welding done now before I blast some paint inside the boat. So that's going to give us a good idea on where everything's going to go, and that when we do have to fit everything out, we're not having to weld tabs on and burn the good undercoat that we've put on. So we're going to get cracking on that now. I'll run you through some other little bits and pieces that I've done off camera as well. And if everyone can let us know what you guys think inside the comments, because we are a bit unsure on how we want to set out the cabin, and there's a few of you guys are seasoned sailors, so if you guys can let us know if you think we're really not hitting the mark with the interior, or if we need to change something because we might be a bit unstable underway and the layout's not going to work. Let us know in the comments. We've still got a lot to learn, so all the info and all the good advice helps. So I'm going to get cracking on some work. Here's some of the purchases that I've made this week. I got these little hatches here. So these are to go up on the bow where that little section was with dissimilar metals. And what I'm hoping to achieve is to have these nice hatches to give me access into that forward area. And I plan on putting in this high pressure water pump. So this will go underneath the floor there, and we'll have a hose that we can pull out to wash down the deck if we want, and if we're reeling in the anchor and it's a muddy anchor, I can wash it down before it goes into the chain locker. So that was my plan there. I'm going to make up a bracket so this can be welded onto the hull, and then I'll just bolt down this motor in that little forward locker. One of these hatches will give me access if I have to service the pump, and the other little hatch here will give me access to a hose that I can pull out. That's the plan anyway, and that's a job for another day, so we'll get that on the whiteboard. Thought we'd go through our whiteboard here because it's been a couple of weeks and we've completed a few jobs, so it's nice to keep things updated. So in our to-do list, we've still got install new portholes, install new windows, corrosion in the cockpit. That one actually has gone all the way through to complete. There's no more corrosion in the cockpit. Install hatches, workshop roof, paint the hull, reinstall steering column, level the boat, reinstall and weld safety rails, temporary flooring, complete the staircase, and clean inboard of the boat. So we've actually completed clean inboard of the boat. Complete staircase, so that one's pretty close. I've done all the welding, but the wife wants to paint it and make it all pretty. Level the boat we've got to get onto soon because summer's finished now and we're onto autumn, and the weather's only going to get wetter, and we don't want to keep this boat on the lean. So reinstall steering column's not going to happen for a while, paint the hull's not going to happen for a while. So this is basically right. In progress is repair the bow. I'm basically nearly done that. The only thing I've got to do now is weld those two triangular pieces, but we've got a little bit of work to do before we finish that. Dissimilar metals, all done. So we don't have to worry about that one anymore. Whiteboard and pegboards, all done. So we're going to add in a couple more this week, which is install a high pressure water pump. So I've purchased that, and that's going to go in for the chain locker so we can wash the anchor down as we pull it up. Install small bow hatches. So there's two that we bought to go up the front, access the hose and the high pressure water pump, make up a mock-up interior. Well, that's this week's episode. So we'll put that in progress. And blast and prepare the inside of the hull. That might not happen for a while. Got to get set up to do that. I actually have bought a very large air compressor, but it's secondhand, so I've got to give it a service. I've got to plumb it all up and get it all running. But yeah, so that's more than big enough to blast the interior of the boat. So that we'll show you that a bit later. But that's our whiteboard up to date. There's a lot to do and not a heap in progress, and we're getting a bit more done in the completed section, which is great. So I'm just outside working on another job, which is making up all mock-up interior pieces for inside. The wife and I have got a couple of different options that we want to go with, and we want to just move things around and be able to see how things work inside. So I've already made a start. I've made the saloon bench, got some kitchen bench top sizes templates made up, got some more box frames that I'm using. Just cutting up all the old interior pieces. I don't want to waste scrap material, so I want to go out and buy new stuff just to make some templates. So we're just going to use all those timbers up to make the interior, and we'll start making up some more of them. Got some more scrap pieces I've got lying around. Just going to cut that as a top. One of the jobs I've been doing off camera is trying to fix up this staircase that we've got here. So I ended up finding half of the staircase in the scrap metal bin, and it was still pretty good. It was nice and stable, but it only went up to here, and I had to finish the rest off. And it had this handrail that went up to here, and it stopped about there, and then there was nothing on that side. But what I was more worried about is there's only a handrail from here and nothing. So my kids are probably a little bit smaller than this handrail, and it was a large area for them to fall through. So this is about the right size for their hands as a handrail, and then this extra one I put in here is to stop them falling through. So now it's a lot safer, and so we go up here, and it's actually a bit of a better height for a handrail, and even this is at my shoulder height, so that's not really doing much as a handrail. So these went in. I put 6mm plate for the steps going up further, and then we decided to put in a little bit of a safety rail at the end, because when you got up to the end here it was just a big long drop to go down. So now it's a nice wider platform at the top there, and we've got all these barriers to stop people from falling down, and it even has a nice little elbow in the corner there to stop people from slipping or putting their foot through the corner there, because now you just can't fall. So it's much safer, it's much sturdier. I've put in a little piece of wood here to stop it banging against the hull, and it just stiffens it up a little bit more too. So it's not the prettiest of staircases. I know the wife wants to paint it to make it look a lot better, but it gets us up to the boat nice and safely now. We had to put a whole bunch of more cross beams and braces to stiffen it all up, but it's a nice safe way of getting up to the boat now. So that's one bit that I'll be doing in bits and pieces off the boat, but let's go up and have a look at what's in the boat. So what we're sort of planning is to have a bench that goes here for the galley all the way along, a long bench. And then in this sort of section here, we're going to have a little nav station, forward facing nav station there. So you'd have a built-in seat in here, and you would probably sit on that facing forward, and a little bench coming out off of that bulkhead there, which will have all your displays up on here and wrapping around all your electrical panels. And then after that we'll have the benches and cupboards, and then in this corner here we're going to have a little bar fridge and a freezer standing upright, side opening, and a little bench on top of them with a little coffee and breakfast station on top. Coming around here is your saloon bench with a table. So what we want to do is push this saloon bench all the way back to that bulkhead. Otherwise you will only really get one person sitting here, one person in the middle, 2, 3 and maybe a fourth on the side. If we push this all the way back, we will get an additional person in here and a much bigger walkway. At the moment we're sitting here. If I went to lean back, I can't lean back because of this bulkhead. If we push this all the way back, if I wanted to lean back, my head will be on this bulkhead. I'd have to duck underneath and sort of lean awkwardly. But at this height, we can't do it. We'd have to bring it back to where we had it, and we're losing so much space. So we may end up having to drop this floor down just to get this head height, which I think one of the previous owners had thought about all this and had already planned to do that. So let's go underneath this floor so I can show you the difference between the two. So we're now down underneath this floor. So here's the current floor. The guy I bought it off of raised it. This was the original build floor, and some of the John Pugh designs have a higher floor, less cabin space, and this is a common design for this particular build to have it up this high. But previous owners have put this floor in, and this is the height all the way around, and that's maybe where we have to go to get the extra cabin space. This is heaps of storage. I mean, I can comfortably sit in here, and I've got still lots of headroom. There's so much storage under here, it's crazy. But then to have that couch sitting 500mm forward, 500mm to the center line of the boat, and have nothing but huge amounts of storage behind the couch, it doesn't really help because you're not gaining much. I mean, we've got so much storage under here, you don't need an extra 10 cubic meters of storage in that couch setup. So by dropping this floor down 300mm, I mean, I've got about 150mm from here to the top of my head, maybe 100mm. Yeah, 100mm. So the top, we measured it, and basically if we were to drop this floor, it would be as if it was in the middle of this, your head height would be in the middle of this window here. So that gives you so much more comfortable head height, and we'd be able to push this couch right out to this hole here, and we're gaining so much space. So we basically gain an extra person here sitting on that seat there. Much bigger table, and we're not encroaching into this walkway. There are some more advantages of dropping this floor, because this floor here is this floor here is where we'll be dropping it down to, this bracket, and that's also the same height as a bracket in this walk-in wardrobe, so there won't actually be a step here. It'll be just one nice flat continuous floor all the way through. And then when you go to the forward cabin, it's quite a large step here to step down into the cabin. So that's quite a large step. When we come down to the new floor height, it'll come down to this height here, which only gives you a 200mm step instead of 500mm. So instead of having to have two steps to get down, it'll just be one little one. So it gives us a much more flatter boat, which is nice. The other thing is, these cupboards, instead of having your bench top and then the top of the cupboards to here, they'll be coming up to halfway up this window, so you're gaining a lot more free usable space underneath here. That's pretty nice as well, and that way this couch gets pushed all the way back to that bulkhead, and there's much more open free space to walk into that walk-in wardrobe area there. Also, the fridge freezer can drop slightly and gives you more bench spot space to have above the fridge freezer. Put a little bench across the top, and you can have a kettle and a toaster. It'll be like a breakfast station instead of having to clog up all the bench space on the galley there. So after spending a bit of time mocking up, or starting to build some mock-up interior pieces, we soon realised it's just not working, and we stopped. We might move these pieces into the forward area, and I might start pulling up this floor and dropping the temporary floor. So we're not seasoned sailors or anything, so any of you guys who are and think that we're making a bit of a mistake by dropping this floor to gain an extra 330mm of head height. In here you can see I've got heaps of headroom. It's just when you're sitting on that couch and working in this kitchen with a bit of a cramped space between here and here, We don't want to pull the kitchen into the middle of the room and the couch into the middle of the room, losing a metre of floor space. If we drop the floor back down, push everything out, it's going to be so much bigger in here. But if you guys can see that we might be making a mistake, let us know. We don't see that it would work in such a small space in this main cabin. We would like to push everything out, and that's the direction we're looking at going. So let us know what you guys think. We could be making a mistake, or we could be doing the best thing for the boat. That's the end of this week's episode. Not everything went to plan this week. Unfortunately, we had to stop, reassess the situation. We think blowing the floor will be the best option. However, you guys let us know what you think, and we'll progress with other jobs while we're rethinking and possibly taking this temporary flooring out, lowering what we have currently, and going with that original build floor height. But let us know what you guys think. We could be making the wrong move, but yeah, I don't think we need so much storage on this boat, and we're only really using this for coastal cruising. We're not traveling around the world, so we don't need ample amount of storage. There is a full storage room up the front, but you guys will get a better view of the situation in a couple of weeks when I actually do a full proper boat tour with a good camera and steady floor. And that might give you a bit more insight on what our plans are for the rest of the boat. But yeah, the storage factor, I think there's plenty. It's just, do we want it so close together? You know, walking through when you're underway, you may want everything a little bit closer so you've got something to grab a hold of. But we are wasting a lot of room. But let us know what you guys think, and we'll keep posting our content. Leave a comment, subscribe and like, do all that sort of stuff, and we'll see you next week. Thanks guys.